You know, Sakura, there's something poetic about standing in an immigration checkpoint with no one around.
Poetic? I'd call it eerie, Professor. All these gates, all these ropes, but no travelers.
Precisely the point. This controlled space was built for 42 million people, and that's not hypothetical. In 2025, Japan welcomed a record-breaking 42.68 million foreign visitors.
42 million? That's more than a third of Japan's own population walking through gates like these.
And they spent big. Total tourism spending hit $63.8 billion, a record for the third straight year. But here's what's really changing. 70% of that money went to services, hotels, restaurants, trains, not shopping bags.
So tourists aren't just buying electronics and Kit Kats anymore?
The shift is dramatic. A decade ago, it was all about duty-free shopping sprees. Now, it's about sleeping in a 200-year-old ryokan, eating omakase at a Michelin-starred counter, riding a local train through rice paddies. Experience over stuff.
Who's actually coming to Japan? Is it mostly from one country?
Korea leads with 9.45 million visitors. China is second at 9.09 million, up 30% from the year before. Taiwan is third at 6.76 million, and a survey by Values found that over 80% of visitors from these countries are repeat visitors.
80% are repeaters? That's not tourism, that's a habit.
Exactly. For Koreans and Taiwanese especially, visiting Japan has become as routine as a domestic trip. Korean youth have normalized weekend Japan trips. Fly Friday night, eat ramen in Fukuoka, fly back Sunday.
That's incredible. But what are they coming for?
Food tops the list across all countries. Shopping is second. But Thailand stands out. Over 70% of Thai visitors say they come specifically for natural scenery and countryside landscapes.
Thai tourists want rice paddies, not Shibuya?
Apparently so. And Chinese tourists are the biggest spenders on cosmetics and health supplements. They trust Japanese quality for anything they put in or on their body.
So everything's booming. What could go wrong?
China. In January 2026, total visitors dropped 4.9%, the first year-on-year decline in 4 years. Chinese visitors plummeted 60% due to Beijing's travel advisory discouraging trips to Japan.
60%? That's a cliff.
Direct flights were cut. Department stores saw 50% cancellation rates during Chinese New Year. The industry scrambled to court Southeast Asian tourists instead. Meanwhile, Korea hit 1.17 million, a single-month record. Australia also set records, driven by ski season.
So Japan can't put all its eggs in one basket.
Precisely. Market diversification isn't just strategy, it's survival. But there's a completely untapped segment that caught my eye. American wealthy families.
Wealthy American families? Tell me more.
A startup called Synk surveyed 100 affluent U.S. families, the kind who only stay at 4-star hotels or above. 59% plan to spend over $600 per day in Japan, excluding flights. 21% budget over $1,000.
$1,000 a day? What are they buying?
Not things, experiences. 40% want fine dining. 34% want cultural events. But the biggest finding was what they call the me time problem. About 70% of these families struggle to find personal time during travel because of their children.
Ah, they want the Michelin dinner, but someone needs to watch the kids.
36% said they simply give up on adult activities entirely. Another 24% take turns watching children. The market opportunity? If each of the estimated 200,000 wealthy U.S. families visiting Japan spent an extra $1,500 on premium childcare, that's a $300 to $500 million market.
And the kids?
62% of parents want their children to experience traditional Japanese play, origami, calligraphy. 42% want basic Japanese language lessons. Parents want me time, but they also want their kids to have an educational adventure.
Okay, so more tourists, more money, new markets. But doesn't that create problems for the people who actually live in Japan?
Absolutely. That's why dual pricing is spreading. Sapporo TV Tower raised its observation deck fee from about $6.70 to $8, but created a new residents-only price of $5.40. Ski resorts across Hokkaido now offer Hokkaido resident discounts as standard. The town of Kuchan, gateway to Niseko, even modeled its system after Hawaii's Kama-Aina discount.
So they're not charging foreigners more, they're giving locals a break?
That's the clever framing. By basing it on residency, not nationality, they avoid accusations of discrimination. Anyone with a Japanese residence card, including foreign residents, gets the discount. Himeji Castle and Kyoto are exploring similar models.
And the national museums?
The government told national museums and galleries that if their self-generated revenue doesn't reach 40% of costs within 4 years, they face restructuring, which could mean closure. They've been ordered to implement dual pricing within 5 years.
Close a national museum? That's extreme.
It follows the Louvre's lead. Paris raised prices 45% for non-EU visitors in January. And Japan is also building something bigger. JESTA, a pre-travel screening system modeled after America's ESTA. By 2028, every visa-exempt visitor will need online authorization before boarding a flight to Japan. Airlines that let unauthorized passengers board will face penalties.
So these gates will get a lot smarter.
Facial recognition, fingerprint registration, instant verification. The wait times at immigration, currently a major complaint, should shrink dramatically. Japan is preparing its infrastructure for the next wave.
42 million was just the beginning?
The government's target is 60 million by 2030, with $15 billion in spending. 15 trillion yen, roughly $100 billion. But this time, it's not just about headcount, it's about sustainability, quality, and making sure the people who live here don't lose their city in the process. You've been listening to Narrative Japan. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening for the whispers beneath Japan's economy.